What's going on, everybody? Already here for a lunch break here at Life of Dad. With me is my main man, Jon Finkel. What's up, sir?
I'm a sideshow today. We have a special guest. Let's get right to it. Let's bring in our main man here today.
Yes, this is awesome. This is probably one of the best episodes we're gonna have. Let us know where you're watching from. Join the conversation. It's what age do you introduce your kids into your music? And we got a guy who's always checking out the show. He bought a copy of the book. He pre-ordered it, and he showed us a screenshot. So he's a guest on our show, none other than a loyal viewer, Shawn Kingbird. What's up, sir?
What's up, guys? How's it going? Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Man. Yeah, we were so happy to have you on here. Finkel and I were just like, he's coming on today. Before we get into the topic of the show, talk a little bit about, you and your family, man. We always, Life of Dad, let's get that theme in here. Talk about what you guys like to do with your family, sir.
Well, me and my girl, we're a blended family. We got 5 kids together. We have a 3-year-old. I have a 9-year-old. There's 13, 14, 18-year-old girl graduating. So we have a whole spectrum of young to old to live with and experience. We like to go out to eat. We're very family oriented. We have a big family, cousins, aunts, brothers, sisters, everywhere. So we're just live. We're always involved doing stuff with the family and going out, just having fun and stuff.
Nice,
Love
man.
it. Experience it all while we go. Yeah, just learn as you go. That's I don't really know other than that, man.
I like people jumping in immediately with their comments of like AC/DC, Eminem. They're not here for the chit chat today, guys. They want to let us know the music that they're listening to their kids to and just throwing it out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of great. We're getting to that. I'm actually sharing in a couple groups so people can join in on the conversation. But Shawn, this is hitting your wheelhouse, man. You guys, you love music. Before we started this live show in the quote unquote green room, we are talking about the awesome posters he got back there, and plus he has some Jordans on display. He's a regular now. He's got some Air Jordan 8s. Look at that. This dude knows how to cater to the audience and me and John. So it's great.
Yes, got to, man. I'm with it.
All right, man. So talk about what music. I mean, like you said, you have a wide range of ages of kids. So probably the older ones are just listening to the stuff that you are. Are they showing you a couple of bands that you're they hey, Dad, check this out, and you're like, man, this is pretty sick. Or no, are you just pretty much you're showing them the ropes of what music they should listen to?
It's a little bit of both, depending on what kid's coming with it. You know what I mean? My 9-year-old, he's got the cartoon rap I've never heard of, this video games he plays, and they're rapping about Minecraft and all this other stuff, and I'm like, oh, cool, this is awesome. And then you get to the 13, 14-year-olds, and they're more about the pop, the Post Malones, what's going on the radio nowadays, stuff I don't really listen to. But the 18-year-old is fun because that's when we get the understanding of hip hop and, different genres of the hip hop of, political gangster rap and all that stuff. It's so fun. But yes, I'm learning from them as much as they're learning from me with music.
Nice, man.
I think that's the key is when you can actually explain the lyrics. The only song that I can do that right now is the old Criss Cross song, I Missed the Bus. That's the only one I think that they actually understand when I say this song's about missing the bus. You can't miss the bus. Do you understand the lyrics to this song? That's about it. I don't think I've got anything past that.
That's awesome. Also, too, we got AJ saying, I named my kid after Game of Thrones, so there isn't much censorship going on in here.
Littlefinger Klein, is that what his name is?
Oh, that's fantastic. What else we got over here? I have a twin 10-year-old and a 7-year-old and a 6-year-old, and that's it. Same here. Winter is coming. Let's see what else we got over here. I listened to DMX growing up, so never hopefully, meaning sharing, what they're gonna be sharing their kids with. But I still prefer that over Cardi B and Kanye ish. So that's another thing. Shawn and John, do you guys feel when we were young, teenagers, it's our parents what kind of music is this? Do you feel like we're becoming get off my lawn type of men with dads being what kind of music are you listening to, or no?
I'll let you go first, Shawn. You have way more spread of kids than I do.
I do. I feel that way because I feel as a hip hop fan, as a hip hop fan, the direction of what it is now with the hair and the tattooed faces and the more auto-tune and noise and spectacle it's become, I always have to reinsert the importance of lyrical ability and content of what you're listening to instead of bells and whistles, confetti and balloons, you know what I mean? But that's what they want to see and hear. But, I just try to bring them back to, what's real, the J. Coles of the world and things like that.
Yeah, I think you really do have to into them the mic, like the actual lyrics, the microphone, like the mic work, the skills, the bars. Like my kids aren't old enough to really get into that, but I've had conversations with my nieces and nephews who are older, and they'll say, this song's good, or did you hear that? And I agree with you totally, Shawn. Like, yeah, if you get rid of auto-tune and you get rid of, like, the bells and whistles is a great way. It's an old man phrase, but yes, the bells and whistles of music. If you just strip it away and you put the guys we grew up on, if you just read their lyrics even, they'd be great, most of the legends that we talk about. And then when you listen to the performance and it's just a smooth beat or, whatever it is they have over there, it's night and day. And it does feel like now, whatever, I'm sure I don't get all the references, so some, kid could explain to me that, hey, you don't even know that they're talking about this and social issues and whatever. But the fact remains that it doesn't sound like they're that skilled. So I can say that because I can show you guys that we grew up on who are influenced all these guys, and it's just a different thing. It's like we do it in sports all the time too, but for some reason, whereas athletes have gotten bigger, stronger, faster, and can do more, seems like the new MCs have gotten lazier and just do beats. That's right, I said it. Lazier MCs. Bring me your lazy MC tape.
Don't add him. Don't add John. Unless your Twitter add him at John_Finkel. Shawn, talk a little bit about the people that are behind you painting-wise and who kind of influences your music taste back there, man.
All right, well, I got two of the biggest people behind me. One of my favorite groups from back in the days, The Temptations. Love them. So I got over here, I got a painting of David Ruffin hanging up. He's one of the lead singers for the group, My Girl, Such and Such. Back here, I got the king, the man, Dr. Dre. Had to get him painted, and then out of left field, we got George Costanza coming at you. Okay, so don't get it twisted. This is the flavor right here. You know what I mean?
True. All hip hop heads know that Costanza is easily one of the best hooks ever that came up with ever.
and plus, too, like if you can tell me the song that he used on his answering machine, not you guys, but our audience out there, the first two people to email me, art@lifeofdad, are going to win copies of Bumblebee on Blu-ray, courtesy of Paramount. They sent me a few of them, so you guys will get a chance to win it. So not in the comment section, but email me, art@lifeofdad.com. What song
can they
Costanza sing on his?
Can they email you the audio of them singing the song? Because that's what I'd like to hear.
If they can do that, maybe I'll give them a bigger prize, or maybe they'll get a free copy of the Life of Dad book. But for right now, make sure that you email me, art@lifeofdad.com, and I'll hook someone up with Bumblebee thanks to Paramount Pictures. P. Griffin says, our dude eats the same food we do, listen to the same music. I'd say the only difference is movies. The reason why I brought this comment up is right up here, because for me, watching Thor Ragnarok with my daughters, all of a sudden the soundtrack was fantastic, and Into the Spider-Verse as well. But when Thor Ragnarok came on, Led Zeppelin, Immigrant Song came on, my daughter's like, what song is this? Do you have this on your iPhone? I'm like, yeah. So we're listening to it. So like when movies not only are great that you watch together, but the soundtrack kind of like bridges the gap, so to speak, that kind of rocks. If John or Shawn, have you guys ever had that where you're watching a movie and there, a song comes on that you definitely dig and your kids are like, what's this? And you introduce them to this band.
Yeah, go ahead, Shawn.
House of the Rising Sun, man.
Oh,
Casino. The scene with Robert De Niro when they're walking down the hallways and the song starts coming on and it's just like, who is that? What is that? I remember hearing that from a movie and having to be corrected on who it was. And I'm like, oh, that's the movie. That's the song from that movie. Yeah. And they're like, no, that's, and I get it, man. A lot of movies, they interact you with songs that you love.
Yeah, it's hard when they use the song sort of out of place. The thing that happens to me sometimes in commercials, they'll use like a really classic song in a commercial, and your kid's like, oh, they're selling, Go-Gurt. And I'm like, that's actually the Beatles, but yeah, whatever.
Were you laughing at this right here?
What's that?
What I don't know what Shawn was laughing. Were you laughing at what John was saying or what Brittany was saying right over here?
Yep. I'm laughing at the comments, man.
My daughter,
I'm laughing at both.
My daughter says
Very keen with rapping Eminem lyrics than I am.
Yeah,
Lady, she's been into the old 70s. Yeah. So that's the thing, Shawn. What age, when it comes to like rapping and rappers, obviously the kids aren't going to understand the references because A, they're dated, right? And B, there's some, when we came up with Dre and Snoop, and I mean, I listen to DMX a lot of mornings when I work out. My kids every now and then will come in, like I have a gym in my garage, they'll come in, and I have to turn it off immediately because there's not like a single word they can hear. And I just don't know when is the age, I guess 13, what age did you decide like, all right, there's certain words that they can never ever say probably in your house till they're 17 or 18. But what age are you comfortable with letting them kind of just unfettered and you're not cringing at like, oh, another F-bomb and terrible thing about a woman and whatever?
I'd say where kids are at right now, like maybe a 14-ish, because they got phones, they got iPhones, they're going to be hearing this stuff from their friends and cousins and stuff like that. We just try to keep them responsible with it and not blatantly, speaking that way. And if you're a fan of it, then we try to explain what it is, what they're talking about. You know what I mean? But 14 years old, yes, I try to introduce them to things like Changes, Tupac, you know what I mean? Like songs that like, you can explain and he tells you about it. Otherwise, like Dear Mama, if we're going to go back and find out songs that they're going to talk about and want to listen to that are great, those are good starters. That's what I like to start them on instead of the, wicked stuff that I love.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. You want to find like safe songs, I guess, within whatever genre you like, and then because they all had radio played versions. I guess I've never tried to find them on my own. I don't have the versions I listen to, and then the radio versions on there also. But I think like I don't know, like Mama Said Knock You Out, you could safely, you know what I mean? There's certain songs, at least from the guys that you listen to, that you could get in there. Like my son loves Rock the Bells, and it's actually not really there's nothing really bad about it. It's just kind of like a hard old school, late 80s beat, and it gets you going. And my son loves like the Rock the Bells. He thinks it's about bells, like rocking. So that's great. But like, yeah, there's certain songs that there's just no way to share unless your kid's like 15 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an age where they should know, right from wrong, what to say, what not to say, what more responsibility starts at that age with your music, I think.
Do you have a set of like a playlist that you listen to that's like, because I have one that I'm like, my kids are very rarely on my phone. I just don't let them be on there because as like all kids, they jack everything up. They'll delete my email and get rid of my whatever. But they know sometimes they can get on the music, and I have like playlists that are, mostly like workout playlists for the morning that I don't want them on. Do you have people who are sort of hard off limits for them in terms of the hip hop that you like?
Yeah, certain songs. Like I said, you do have Tupac, for example. I'm probably going to use that, but you have the soft side and the hard side stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just what they're listening to. I mean, hip hop is always going to be discretionary, and it's always going to push its limits and things like that. But it's just the songs you're listening to, and well, yeah, I mean, Coolio, I mean, they can bang Gangster's Paradise all they want to, you know what I mean? But you start to go on to Hit 'Em Up and all these explicitory type of lyrics, then, you got to just tame it on what songs they're listening to, I think, than rather who you're introducing them to,
Hey, Shawn, can you hear me?
Do you see Art?
Yes.
Okay, sweet.
All right, I can't see Art, so he can ask you some questions. I didn't know if he was on there. I thought I lost him, so go ahead, Art.
Yeah. First of all, we got a couple of people already emailed me some answers. Some of them are correct, so I'll look out for my responses back to you in case you won. Yeah, Tupac is huge for me, and like Bone Thugs and Harmony, like Changes is a good song because there's nothing in there. And then Bone Thugs Crossroads, I played this song. I mean, they kind of looked at me like, well, what is this? I'm like, well, when I was kind of like a little bit older than you at your age, I started listening to this music and they loved it. And I said I loved it, and so like they're like, all right, and they were kind of like, maybe not. Like my youngest kind of like the fast pace of the rapping, but they're like, well, what are they saying? I'm like, no one really understands what Bone Thugs and Harmony are saying. But just to the point where I'm like, there's a song where I'm like, there's a song where they can listen to some of the music I had, and John earlier was talking about like the clean version on iTunes. You have like the E and the C where it's like you get like a clean version of a song. You're like, all right, cool. Like I'm going to show you this song. LL Cool J is for one, Run DMC. So there are, I definitely look for the clean versions just so I can introduce it to my kids. So, cause they're a little bit younger than obviously your older kids. So I kind of have to balance like, all right, I want to show them this stuff, but maybe when they get a little bit older, cause like I know my oldest be like, oh, they said a bad word. They said a bad word.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's more about just limiting the swear words to the young ones than it is really the content of it, because you can explain that. They just know the bad words, and that's all they hear. Oh, it's a bad song. Well, I mean, in context, it's really not a bad song. You just can't say those words yet, or at all until you're an adult. So, I mean, understanding the song more or less than just hearing the words and swear words and,
I think
all that stuff.
What ends up happening to me is I'll put on like just the hits on Sirius XM or something, like when we're running errands or going to soccer practice and stuff. And then the songs that are those popular, sort of just regular popular songs now, whether it's Taylor Swift or the Post Malone Sunflower song or this new 21 Pilots song, Chlorine, which I don't have any idea what it's about. But like my kids will sing these songs now, and I guess they're getting cool in the modern parlance of pop culture. Cool, it's like. They like the songs from the people who are top 20 songs now. Do you have any current favorites that your kids want to hear in the car right now? If we get in and my kid doesn't hear this Chlorine song, who's just because it's like it's just this very sing-songy thing that means I don't even know what it's about. I guess Chlorine is the relationship. I've tried to figure it out. I've heard it so many times, and then when Shallow was out from Star Is Born, I still have that as the number one listened to song on my phone because my daughter used to just take it and hit it on repeat and leave it on her bed for like 3 hours while she played with Barbies.
I love No saying right here, don't ever listen to your kid. Don't let your kids ever listen to Nickelback.
I don't.
Yeah. Was it like now people on Twitter and like social media were saying like the equivalent to Nickelback nowadays is Imagine Dragons? Is that true?
I have no idea. I don't listen to Nickelback. I don't listen to Imagine Dragons. My fiance is the rockhead of the family. She's the Ramones. I mean, everything. She's a rocker. So we blend very well together with our music taste for our kids. Anyway, we both have our limits. We both know what to teach. We both know what we like. She teaches me a few things that I didn't know. I teach her a few things she didn't know. And then our kids get the best of both worlds, I'd say.
There you go, man. Love that.
My wife went to the University of Miami, and so she just likes basically house beat music. So there's really no discussion or debate over who's going to teach what in our house.
Noah's bringing it today. He says, I teach my boys Pantera is greater than all. Love that. What else we got over here? Cliff says, we always play the clean version for our kids so they know not to say a bad word, and that's great. Savannah goes,
there you go.
I love Nickelback, but I think it's because it reminds me of my mom. She passed away when I was a teenager, so I listen to them. It brings back good memories. Thanks for sharing that, Savannah. Yeah, there's songs that'll there's a couple of songs that I have that remind me of my mom who passed, and like I share that with my daughter. So definitely cool. You're always passing down traditions that way. And then No says, here's an artist I wrote for music for and shot his video. I think he's going to send a link as well. And then Shawn says, The Weeknd, I Feel It Coming. Yeah, there's certain songs that have like these innuendos, and if your kids start singing it, you're like, no, like, that song, When I Taste Tequila? So my oldest like, when I take, I'm like, no, you're not singing that song. Like, I think it was at like a restaurant. I'm like, we're like eating, I'm like, you don't sing that song. I said, you're an 11-year-old kid. You don't sing that song. She's like, okay. And then she starts humming it. I'm like, humming? No, you don't even hum that song either. Like, no.
I mean, that's how radio works, though. It seems like, okay, we can't, they start editing out the swear words, but I mean, what they're singing, the good melody. Like my nephew, I think it was a couple of years ago, that song came out with Snoop. So what? We get drunk. He started singing. I'm like, It's just like, what are you doing? Like, it's, there's just no swear words in there. It's like, well, I mean, you can't still, you don't know what you're talking about. Like,
or that one song, I forgot the musician, but she's like, it's a song about like, there's a guy that's like married, but like she used to like date him, and then like, step one, like you can't get under him, or like you can't get over him if you're under him. And I'm like, yeah, we're not playing that song right now. So we're good with that. But we like the song. I'm like, no, we're good. No, we're good. So gotta say thanks, Shawn, and everybody who's also pre-ordered this book. We appreciate this. This is a year of the dad. You want to be like Shawn. Did you have a great time, Shawn? Did you have a great time?
I had a blast, man. This is awesome. This is one of the things I wanted to do forever. I followed the show for a long time, and I've participated every time. I love your topics. I love watching it. Being on it is one of the best things that's ever happened. I love it, man, and I hope this happens again in the future. And this is great.
Yeah, man, we would absolutely love to have you on. This was great. We really appreciate it, and anyone who's watching, there's a good amount of you guys that are like our core guys who come in week after week. We've been doing this for well over a year. We appreciate you so much, and we'd love to have you on chat. And then for me personally, I know R2, this was great, Shawn. Thanks so much.
Yeah, and he's rocking the Life of Dad hat. We're definitely bringing this guy back on. But if you want to get your chance to be there on the Facebook Live, or if you're kind of scared, not want to go live, be on our podcast, pre-order the Life of Dad book. We appreciate it. We'll see you all Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. But again, thanks to our special and awesome guest, Shawn. And for John and I, we'll see you all later. Peace.